This week in the 51% France 24's Women's Show, Annette Young talks to courageous Palestinian and Israeli women, peacemakers, and asks, are their voices being heard? Are we hearing their voices? Are they even audible among the sound of the bombs?
It is indeed a very grim time, Shona, for those women activists, as you can appreciate. But if anything, there is an urgency in their voice that I have never heard before, keeping in mind I am a former Middle East correspondent and was there for many years. So when I reached out to them, the message very much is it's now or never, not just for the region, but for the whole world as such, because obviously this conflict is very much in danger of broadening out, and we could see direct involvement from the US and Iran, and that indeed would be something of high risk. So to give a little bit of context, however, before October 7th attacks by Hamas, both sides, as in both peace activists on the Palestinian and the Israeli side, were very, very demoralised, primarily because of a far-right government in Israel, which was doing as much as it could to expand settlement in the occupied West Bank and also targeting people, even on their own side. Anyone who was declared to be a peacenik, as they say in Hebrew, was seen as a traitor and as somebody who was naive. And of course, now we're in a situation where we've witnessed a most horrific, brutal attack by Hamas, and in response, no surprise, the Israelis have responded with this incredible, massive aerial bombardment. So this is why they're all saying now is the time more than ever. We literally have to apply the handbrake because we don't want to be in a position where the rest of the world finds themselves dragged into a regional war. But the other thing I want to mention here is about the role of women as peace activists. And funnily enough, just recently, the UN Women had released a report which showed that the reality is that, no surprise, women remain largely sidelined from peace negotiations. And while women participate in many UN-led peace processes, their actual numbers are around 16%. And in recent years, that figure has been dropping. So again, you know, not a good sign at a crucial time when women's voices should indeed be heard.
And I imagine that these Palestinian women peace activists and these Israeli women peace activists, that they're working together in concert, that they have kind of joint actions that they're taking. How are they getting their voices heard? How are they social media? How are they getting that across?
Well, I just want to say something. The problem is at the moment, because of the nature of the environment, they're not so much working jointly together. Normally they do, and they certainly are to a lesser degree at the moment for obvious reasons. But this was a question I wanted to ask them, and this is what I did. I said, how do you get people to listen to you at moments like this? Let's take a listen to what the two women had to tell me. Where to from here? We seem to be standing on a precipice. Instead of seeing so much doom, how do you convince people around you that this is the time to apply the handbrake and seek a peace agreement?
I think it's really important for us to start communicating more that the fact that more than 50 years of under occupation, more than 15 years of siege, is only going to bring us more war and more violence on both sides. And actually, we're seeing civilians on both sides paying the highest price. And people are starting to realize that this cannot continue. How do we bring them more to this recognition? I think that we need to seriously consider how we're going to end the occupation and how is our voice going to be heard at the different governments as well. There is an opportunity right now, but we need to go back to the basic humanization of one another. Unfortunately, throughout the media, we have seen a lot of dehumanization of one another, a lot of hatred and hate speech going on. And we need to find media outlets where this voice, the third voice of not being pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli, just being pro-peace and pro-humanity, is not actually being heard. And we need it to be heard in different media channels and outlets as well.
Yeah, Elle, your final thoughts?
So I first of all, I completely agree with Niveen. The last part of her answer is exactly what I believe, what I think. It's not either pro-Palestinian or pro-Israeli, it's pro-peace. And we need to be together in this. I take inspiration and hope from other conflicts in the history in other regions of the world, like Northern Ireland, like Liberia, where bloody deeds and horrific actions were taken, and women from both sides managed to unite and persistently demand peace negotiations, and they succeeded. So I am hopeful with this. We need the media. We need the international support. We need the support of Israeli and Palestinian leaders and the opinion makers. Join us. Join the mothers who call for peace and begin negotiations, because we cannot live on like this. We all deserve peace in this region.